You know what time it is.
What's up, beer people?
If you heard it on the hashtag beer time, it's true.
It must be true.
It's true. It is fact. Please, won't you name one of your beers cart horse?
And just do something terrible. Just shit beer. Yeah.
Stick your finger in there every now and again.
Stir it with the sock.
Every show, it feels like my first show.
Every show is a new adventure.
Having some good conversation here, Mr. Troy.
Did I make sense there? I think I did.
I love them all.
Are we all fair?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 40 of Hashtag Beer Time, the show all about beer. Well, I cannot believe it's been 40 episodes, so I just want to take this opportunity to thank all the listeners for the support. I'm looking forward to another 40 great episodes. Now, this pre-recording is done in a little public space, so it's going to make a few noises, so I do apologize for that. But on with the show, we have Mr. Michael Everson, who worked or was one of the founders of Everson Cider, and I can safely say has contributed to the craft cider revolution in South Africa. He doesn't really like the word craft, and we discuss why. We also discuss the state of the cider industry, not just in South Africa, but in the world, and what really constitutes a cider, the legal parameters, and everything that goes into making a great cider. He has a great voice for radio, and he certainly shows me how to do my job. But anyway, be that as it may, let's get on with the show. I hope you enjoy it. Please, as always, let me know what you think. Cheers. Just a good old boy. I won't sing. I don't know why I'm singing, but ladies and gentlemen, hello. Few minutes past 12, and it is time for Hashtag Beer Time. I apologize for the tardiness. Good choice of words. We have, speaking of good choices, I have a good old friend in the studio. He goes by many names. Magic Mike, Funky Mary. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff, but
Magic Mike, I remember you actually wrote that on the you wrote that on the first little bottle opening you gifted me, I think, like 3 years ago. I'm not sure, and it was at the mill as well, at the biscuit mill.
And I actually did. I did give it a nice little twist, a little Magic Mike.
Yeah, you actually wrote it on there. In I still have that. I still have that bottle opener, the Magic Mike bottle opener.
That means a lot to me, by the way.
It's the one I use. It's that or my Swiss Army knife that I use the most.
I am, in fact, talking to Mr. Michael Everson, legendary B-grade Hollywood actor.
Yes, correct.
Could we say that?
Well, I'm transitioning at the moment.
Did you go from C grade to B grade, or are you going to A grade?
Hopefully, I'm going A grade.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in the show.
This is not that show.
This is not that show. Can I just say, out of all the guests I've been doing this for a year now, and can I just say you are sounding absolutely terrific. You're making me feel.
That's what I do.
You know that I feel like that Bart Simpson kid in his class who speaks like.
Oh, the little chubby kid.
The policeman's kid.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dad's like, wow, yeah.
Well,
gotta go get those beers.
I think we're going to have a great time. Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, you are listening to Hashtag Beer Time, the show all about beer, anything beer. And I've been looking forward to the show. So I'm very excited to have you in the studio. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I do, if people can't see, but let me just describe what's happening right now. I'm sweating everywhere because it's hot outside.
Are you nervous?
I am very nervous. I'm in the presence of someone who's a hero.
Troy.
Let's cut the BS and drink some.
What's the rule on that?
Swearing.
Yeah.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, fun fucking tastic.
Yeah, but
You try not to.
I try not to. I usually
not
after a few beers, if it's and I'll only say it when I
slips out every
really
now and
need to
again.
say it. Like if
Oh,
the beer
shit.
is,
You're glistening right now.
I'm
Yeah.
Edward. From,
Did you run? Did you run?
So guys, I'm sweating in the studio because, to no fault of Michael, but he rocked up empty-handed, but. And he's got a kid.
It would have.
I understand.
It would have been either drinks or me bringing a kid into the studio.
And you know what? I understand that because I've got friends who, when they say, listen, I have a kid. Cool. You know what? I'm not a dad yet, but your life changes.
Do you know that Murray's kid is 2 days younger than mine? So mine was born on the 14th and his was born on the 16th.
And you also got a girl.
Also, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you...
What's Dylan and... His is also
Dana.
Dana, there, Dylan and Dana.
Dylan and Dana. Taking over the craft beer world. They're going to know so much about
Too much.
the craft industry.
Maybe too much.
Maybe we should protect them.
Maybe we should protect them.
Maybe. Oh, okay. We're going to have a lot of fun on the show, as you can hear. But let's get straight into opening our first drink. And now, funny or ironically enough, let's say we've chosen not to feature any Everson's beers. Everson's ciders.
Everson ciders.
Everson ciders. Oh, I'm glad I haven't had anything to drink. I would have struggled. But we're going to talk. We've got 2 ciders. We've got 2 beers that we're going to talk about. But I think the main goal, if we ever have goals on the show, is to just chat to you, get your opinion on your thoughts on craft, and that craft, can extend to ciders, beers, woodwork, furniture,
Well, I think
tap dancing.
I think craft came first from those things rather than beer. Your craft. What is your craft?
Let's.
You've actually chosen to start with a very good one.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to introduce this because this is from your area, and I assume you're neighbors, ish. Yeah. Just because someone's in Cape Town doesn't mean you're neighbors. Okay, so talk to us. What do you know about this beer? This is the
Kluwer and Jack.
Cider estate-grown apples, not from concentrates.
Yeah, which is
that
kind
important?
of that's the key thing when it comes to craft cider or craft. Craft is a bit of a word that gets overused, in my opinion. So it's
we value opinions on this show.
Okay, good. Essentially, it's kind of like what craft means for beer is cheers. It's no like malt substitutes or fake cheapening
sugar. I'm trying to get my voice here. Whoa, there we go.
Not from concentrate, because your commercial ciders get made with dehydrated apple juice. So concentrate, a syrup that they then add to water, and then that gets fermented high gravity, usually like 14%, and then it goes into a factory where it gets bottled, and it either gets added 50% water to make it a 6%, or the light, or the normal, or the whatever. But not from concentrate means apples were pressed, that juice was inoculated with yeast and fermented.
I'm going to say, is it that simple to make cider?
It is actually that simple.
It's apples, yeast, and thyme.
Apples, yeast, and thyme, whether you want to go...
How long does it age? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you can. So there's between cider and
I have to
wine...
have a sip, I'm sorry.
Well, this is a good one. When last have you had this one?
Oh, and given the weather that we're having, a weird hot spell in the middle of winter.
God, it's so wonderful. I love it.
Oh,
this is the best time to go surfing. We should be in the water right now.
Oh.
This is actually one of my favorite ciders in South Africa, if I wasn't punting Everson cider.
There are a number of ciders that have popped up, I suppose, in the last 4 years. I mean, and the cider craze kind of came after the beer craze. Am I correct in saying that?
So
mainly in Cape Town. I don't think there's
Soweto. The
Soweto cider.
They make a cider, and then Clarence, obviously, they make a cider. Other than that, I'm a little bit out of touch, but I do know that, like in the craft, the beer side of the industry, there are some people falling on the wayside. It's starting to be like thinning.
I've heard it's very sad. I think the one is Windermere.
Yeah, they're official. And I've known Windermere before it went onto the market. Like I went to school with Justin Stanford, and his father originally made Windermere. So I've been drinking it since I was like 14, 15 years old.
Oh wow!
Back like when we were wakeboarding at his
So you're
dad
telling
farm.
me that it's a 20-year-old brand?
Yeah, they closed down, and then Tammy and her father, Tammy married into the Stanfords. It's actually quite interesting. So Justin's father, he remarried.
Who's Justin now?
So Justin's my buddy,
Okay.
and his father's the original Windermere
Sure.
cider guy.
Sure.
So he remarried,
Okay.
and then his new wife's son, so his kind of married-in son,
Yes.
is now the farm manager. He married Tammy.
Who is...
And then Tammy and her father then revitalized. Yeah.
But now it's...
Well,
Are they officially closed?
yeah, they are officially closed. Yeah, they're selling like bulk stock.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it has to be a quick answer, and I know it's not going to be a quick answer. Would you rather see family-owned companies or breweries like Windermere,
Yeah.
who've been around for 10 years, 20 years, would you rather they close
Yeah.
or sell to someone like Heineken?
Well, there was
Those are your options, by the way.
there was whispers. Well, I wouldn't say no to Heineken. I would talk to them. I think when the Lagunitas, you were there as well, weren't you?
I can't remember if I was there, but I think I was there.
I was even willing to talk to them. And then I heard in whispers, because I've also not been in those circles for a while, that Tammy said that Windermere, they had a deal going with Heineken, but yeah, nothing obviously came of it.
Nothing came of it.
Yeah. I would rather see it be sold to like a big power that can, but it depends on what they want to do with it, because Heineken brought Strongbow into the country. And I was talking to one of the execs, and she said that they've taken 25% of the South African cider market from Distell, which
Savannah
is Savannah and Hunters. Yeah.
Hunters, yeah.
We're the second biggest market in the world, and it was like 50 million liters or something. That's
Second biggest cider industry
in the world.
in the world.
Volumetrically.
Who would be the first?
England. Yeah.
Sure, that's a massive cider market. That's where I found out about Bulmers and Magnus.
Yeah, and
is it?
Thatchers and
Oh, my word.
Summersby. But here's the interesting thing.
We like interesting things.
Here's an interesting thing for you. So, cider apples are actually quite tannic. And when I say tannic, I mean like,
Tart?
tannic.
Okay.
Like red wine, that dry feeling you
Okay,
get on
yes,
your tongue.
yes.
That's tannin. It's tannic.
Okay.
So true cider apples aren't nice to eat, and they're quite tannic, which means you don't end up with a nice sweet cider. It's actually quite complex and dry and
Okay.
tannic. And in England and I don't know where else they grow for them, but they do juice and then dehydrate. So they make their ciders. No. They make their ciders from concentrate.
Okay.
But that concentrate is actually cider apples. So it's kind of like a weird thing. Making your cider from fresh juice is the kind of ultimate. But yeah, it's a bit of a gray area. Yeah. Anyway, where we were before that.
We were talking about selling.
Selling. I was looking for investment desperately.
Yeah.
For Everson Cider, because when I joined it was 2011, 2012. My dad had started it as a hobby, because he retired when he was like 50, so quite young for retiring. And he was a winemaker. He studied at Elsenburg.
And I'm sure the wife kicked him out of the house, because that's also happened with my dad.
Oh, that's not a problem, actually. He's on, if he's not doing that, he's like on his mountain bike in the mountains.
Okay,
my mother's not too worried about him. He
Cool.
he just does his own thing. And, they moved to Elgin, and then he's known Justin's father, and then he learned how to make some cider, and it was like a hobby. It was a filler for him. And then he started selling at the neighbor goods market just before the We Love Real Beer thing started happening. So Everson Cider is about 2 years younger than like Jack Black and Union, for instance.
That's now the biscuit malt.
Yeah.
And I remember that's where our love flourished. Can we say that? But I remember some Saturday mornings, you would be there most Saturday mornings.
Yeah, I ran that.
I was there every second.
Because you were there with Jack Black, weren't you?
I was working there with Jack Black and that's how Jack Black started.
That is how Jack Black started.
Just at the market, that was the only...
Ross liked that cash money.
That was very nice cash money. There was no taxing or anything like that.
He was very sad when they closed that all down.
No, I know.
Lucky for them, they opened the brew pub, so that...
Exactly, good timing.
But yeah, we've been going since like 2009 is when Ever Since I'd actually started, and I got on board in 2011, 2012.
Am I correct in saying, this little side note, did you guys change your branding when you joined? Or was it that new logo that's it's like
the Millstone?
Yes.
No, the Millstone's been there. I just massaged it. So I didn't I had to work with what I got.
Massage.
So massage. Yeah, I think we went through 3 label changes while I was there. So that's 5 years to get it to like where it is now, and it's beautiful. And I think
I miss those days of the markets.
I do as well.
It was good interaction. It was the industry was young and people were
excited.
Like
the industry is an interesting thing. In like 5 years, the amount that it's changed from all the way pushing hard and excitement and breweries popping up everywhere to a plateau, and now to actually like a decline in 5 years.
Not even a decline; it's more like a cliff edge.
Like fucking all the lemmings just like over the edge.
But it's scary. So it's like you said, it's a very exciting or interesting time in the industry, whether it's cider or let's just talk in beer in general.
Yeah. I've got a theory for you.
Oh, well, we can't talk about that now.
What do you mean?
Talk about that.
Talk about that now. And I think this is a conversation that everybody's having, but I've been saying this for a while now. I think that the industry skipped a step. We missed out on what craft beer or small producers of beer actually grow. We looked at the big businesses, the Distels, the SABs, the InBevs, whatever you want to and we saw like, okay, cool. So you make your product and then you got to sell as much as possible, as broadly as possible. I remember talking to one guy and he told me how it deserves to be in a bottle. And I told him, no, it deserves to be sold. Like if you're trying to kind of create a livelihood for yourself, it needs to be cash flow. It needs to be sold. It doesn't deserve anything else other than to be sold.
What did he mean by it deserves to be in a bottle?
He wanted to see it in a bottle with the label on a shelf. That's what he wanted to see.
Are you talking just in general, just beer, or?
No. Well, this is a specific guy up the coast.
Okay.
And then I said to him, no, you need to make a brew pub. Create your brand in a physical space that people want to visit. Yeah. And you create a vibe, and you have little live bands, and you make some food, and people come there and you get local support, and people start
Your circle's a lot smaller.
Your circle's a lot smaller, but you create...
It's concentrated.
Yes, and you have localism. And I think I figured it out to something like, if you sold two 30-liter kegs per day, and you're selling it at like 30 Rand a pint, and your cost is like 10 Rand, that's 100,000 Rand a month.
Yeah. Not bad.
We're not talking about like buying a brewery, because that's to make that kind of amount of beer. You need to have substantial investment, but in terms of cash flow, you're not spending money on a label, on a bottle, on a box, on distribution, on like advertising. You're doing like online advertising to get people to the pub.
Yeah.
Brew pubs is a massive, I think if everybody started through the brew pub method, not only would we have had better beer, because they would have had people drinking it in front of them, which means the critique would have happened right there.
Yeah.
And if it was shit, they would have lasted shorter than longer.
Yeah.
Because that contact isn't there. It's kind of weird.
It's unfortunate. I appreciate your theory, and I think it's absolutely valid. But just to follow on from that, it's as if people have tried to play the short game too much,
yes,
and not gone for the long game.
Yes.
To say, listen, I want my business to be around for 10 years. They wanted to make a short-term gain, to cover their costs, to get back up and just get cash flow rolling in on a wider scale. But, that it's such a massive risk that it's just, why would you do that? So yeah, I often get, people approaching me and wanting to buy me a beer and, get my 2 cents. And I often say to them, like, you don't want to grow too big. You want to play, by playing the long-term game, you want to be small and look after 1,000 people. 1,000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly.
That's, 1,000 True Fans, is that a book?
That's an essay. Just Google 1,000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly. And he says, if you get 1,000 fans, no matter what business you're in, and we're talking about ultimate fans that will, when you release something,
they're buying.
They're
pre-ordering.
They're pre-order.
Yeah.
They will get it. They'll buy the shirt. They'll tell their friends. If you just get and focus on 1,000 people, it's hard not to succeed.
Yeah, but I think the conversation also then leads to what do you want? How much do you want? Because do you want to live a decent life, feed your family, go on a few holidays, support a crew of people that work for you, and maybe you can affect like 50 people or maybe even less, and you can just affect their lives in a positive manner. And you don't have the biggest house and a Ferrari and a house in another country, but you're living like a good life. The guy that I was talking about originally that said it deserves to be in a bottle is the guys from Black Eagle.
Okay.
And I said to him, build a brew pub, sell from there. If you've got 5 pubs around you, start by selling 1 keg a week to them, then to 2 kegs a week. And if you got 5 places, each selling 2 kegs a week, and you selling at your place a keg a day or 4 kegs a week, that's a lot of beer. And you don't realize how quickly it stacks up. You don't need to distribute.
Yeah.
I like how, like, with Rory. Rory is, oh God, I'm such a fanboy of that man. I love him so much.
Get him up here. I love him.
I love him. He did it the interesting way. He tried to go big, realized that he could make money at home, stopped distributing, sells at home.
I'm sure that there's some 80-20 principle there where he was just like, to hell with this.
And he also just had a kid, so...
Yeah. Everyone's popping out kids.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something in the beer. Speaking of which, let's open a international favorite. Something which I think was also at the Biscuit Mole when we were there.
Can you find the word cider on that bottle? Calling it a cider.
It's a Perry.
Oh, that's a Perry.
I don't know.
No. It's quite interesting.
What the hell is a Perry?
So, Recordelijk, it actually says made by a cider company. It says somewhere like made by the Recordelijk cider company.
It's premium spiced apple flavor.
Yeah, there you go.
Perry blended with apple, cinnamon, vanilla flavor, made from pure Swedish spring water.
Spring water.
Made from.
Yeah.
Usually it'd say from apples or something like that. But, so it's like a fizzy water.
Yeah, it is.
Flavor water.
With alcohol.
Hot or cold. So we're going to have a cold.
Oh, is that their like winter one?
I'm looking for the word cider now. I'm looking.
Like actually like classifying it as a cider.
Contains sulfites. No, that's okay. It's
a
premium spiced apple flavor Perry perfect serves. No, it's so interesting. I didn't know that, but when you drink Recordelijk, you always say, "Oh, it's a cider."
Yeah. See now, that's a good sound. With that perfect pour, we will get pissed.
We're gonna have to cut that out and put it in a jingle. I was told last week I don't have enough jingles on my show.
Oh, I can just, if anything pops to mind, I'll say anything you want.
Well, what I'm going to do later, I'm going to cut all your sentences out, and I'm going to put together the perfect...
We need more beer jingles! There's one for you.
There's one. Ooh.
Isn't any good... Ooh.
Ooh, hey? Ooh. That's not background effects, ladies and gentlemen. That is the... Have a look. Okay. Give us your thoughts on Recordelijk.
Recordelijk are who they're owned by. They were the 3rd biggest brewery, and now they're the 2nd biggest. Ubro.
Produced and bottled and packaged in Sweden, imported by Supergroup.
Yeah, it's Ubro. So they also started out as a small family business, and then the volumes got too big, but then also style. Like, there are so many different styles of cider. It depends on what your market wants. The South African market wants sweet and tangy.
Yeah.
The English market wants drier and a bit tannic. The French market wants traditional kind of bottle-aged citre, which is dry and almost tastes of sparkling wine. America wants sweet.
Hoppy.
Ooh, hoppy ciders, yeah. Have you had a hoppy cider?
I had the Hunter's hoppy cider the other day.
It smells like medicine.
Really? I am getting that artificial sweetness from like a cinnamon, like that an artificial cinnamon sweetness. But
Yeah.
I say artificial, and that sounds disgusting, but
It doesn't smell real.
like a candy, like a sweet that you'd find in the shops, or
It's like the dentine. You know the dentine cinnamon?
like a chewing gum,
Yeah, the dentine cinnamon chewing gum.
which if you had an option, you wouldn't pick. But
Yeah.
okay, so are you enjoying it? What do you think? What are your thoughts when
When I'm having this,
Yeah,
I wouldn't buy it.
you wouldn't say?
No. I must be honest with you. Even commercial ciders, like I enjoy the Cleaver Jack.
Yeah.
By the way, that is we were kind of on that and then we left it. I can talk a little bit more about that. So
We
obviously
do a lot of things here on the show. We leave it
all over the place.
and if we don't come back,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
that's fine. But it's great to try and be professional and
actually
try and
finish
come
like
back
a-
around and finish the circle. Yeah.
Finish the circle. So it's the Cleavers who are they've been in the valley forever. So they're a very established family in the valley. And then Jack is something. What's the guy's full name? He's a winemaker. Bruce Jack is his
Okay.
name. And Bruce Jack originally had gone fishing cider, which kind of came and went quickly, which is when Windermere shut down, they had bulk cider, and they actually sold that bulk, drills.
Trolls.
They sold that bulk cider to him, and then he rebottled and branded it as Gone Fishing. And then at one stage, it was also Real Cider was the brand. So then he obviously sweet talked them into this deal, and they actually produced a really wonderful, very drinkable, not too sweet, not too tart. Like I can suck a few of those down without even blinking. But here's the sad thing: they've put like too little effort into it. Have you ever seen their stands at
At markets or
at markets or at festivals?
I'm trying to pick my brain now. I can't remember.
Cape Town Festival of Beer?
I can't
No,
remember.
it's like a
Don't ask me to
it's like a
remember
flat
anything.
pack table with like a tablecloth over it, some bottles on the table
Like a homebrew exhibit.
at Festival of Beer. Yeah, I was. It's a little bit sad because it's such a great product and it's such a great brand, it's such a great label. But I think they latched it onto their international wine sales to America. It was like, hey, have a couple of cases of this and see what happens. Same with Scully, actually. They are not very active in South Africa anymore. They are now based in England.
I heard about that as
Yeah.
well. I
They
heard
still
that
produce here,
they
but-
produce here,
yeah.
but I think they realized that their market, they weren't getting any traction here, and they said, no, the market is actually growing overseas for them. So that's, yeah, it's interesting.
The cider market in South Africa is interesting. I think the beer guys went from very few to like over 200, whereas the cider didn't go over 10. Like there's never been more than 10 producers of
Players, yeah.
in the real cider game. There was the brand was a bit of a CBC ripoff. It was like CCC, Cape Cider Company.
I remember that.
Yeah, they weren't around for too long. They might still be floating around. It's a lot of fly by night.
Let's, while this noise is going on in the background, I think we can take a quick music break. And as I said, it seems to have stopped. But let's play a quick music break because we are due one.
Okay.
And we can kind of come back and wrap up with the second half of the show.
Time for a musical interlude.
That was perfect. Right. And let's play it. We'll see you guys after the break. Cheers.
Welcome back to Beer Time with T-Bone Troy, the show about beer and other fizzy drinks. I'm not old enough to drink beer yet, but I'm hoping to one day.
Yay! I think we just got our first little jingle intro. Thank you, sir.
I think that's a great idea. You should actually get all the guests to create like random jingles for you, but maybe you should like sketch it out according to who they are.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to extract sentences and then put it all together as one thing.
Yeah, you could.
Most of it is like, what the hell are you talking about, Troy? You're lying.
Stop lying, Troy.
I call bullshit, Troy.
I call bullshit. I call beer bullshit. The head on that is ridiculous.
And so is the beer.
And so is the beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are actually listening to Hashtag Beer Time. Tertius Vibe Radio. Hello, we've got Michael in the studio. Besides being a lover of all things craft cider, beer, woodwork,
Ooh.
he's also
Motorbikes.
He's also entering the A grade realm of celebritydom.
Well, I don't know why everybody.
did a movie.
I don't want because you don't have to be acted to be a celebrity. Like you can be a celebrity just for being a celebrity. Like the Kardashians,
Really?
they're just celebrities because of who they are.
Even if you are on a radio show, internet radio show, and have a podcast every now and again.
What are you trying to achieve? Because I'm trying to achieve work, not fame.
Not stardom.
No. I want to be that, you know, that list of actors that you like, they're always working, but if someone asks you what their name is, you'll never guess their name. But
Yes.
it doesn't matter. They're always working.
And I suppose it's that joy or happiness that you get from that work that you focus or try and find. I think that's what I'm trying to find.
What, just work or the joy?
The joy from doing this kind of thing.
Oh, of course. I think that's, what do they say? Job, career, calling. So, like, the calling is the passion. That's the kind of the thing that you get your most joy from.
That's why you wake
job,
up.
job, you want to pay the bills.
Yep.
And then career, you want to kind of work your way up and climb that ladder, earn more money. I don't know.
Yeah, and anything that comes with it is secondary, but not primary to your well-being or importance.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I've had lots of practice on living very meagerly. I just mean like, well, actually for an actor in Cape Town, everybody's struggling at the moment because of the cost of life. But I've been used to living on not that much money for a very long time. So
Yeah.
my need isn't very high. Like, I like living simple. It's good.
yeah, as long as you're happy.
Exactly.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. Wow, what were we talking about? Let's go back to talking about the cider, but also you, just for the people listening, you were in a movie with Mr. Johnny Knoxville.
Correct. Yes, he shot his last film, which was called Action Park, based on a actual, like a theme park in California called Action Point. Action Park. The movie is called Action Point.
Okay, so
Yes.
so it's based on something.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was a privateer, so it wasn't corporate owned, and he designed all the rides. So people used to literally die.
Really?
It shut down because they were called. You can't really say this in a South African accent because it doesn't make sense. But they used to call it Class Action Park
Okay.
because you can't say
Lawsuit.
class. You can't say Class Action Park.
Class Action Park.
Class Action Park.
Yeah.
People, break legs, arms, die, noses, just like off. Anyway, and in the movie, Knoxville is the owner, and I am one of the sort of, as he calls the shitbirds, who are the team that run the park. And my character's name is Slappy, and I run the snack shack, where you buy your food and your beer and whatever in the park.
And I'm sure you can get other stuff at the shop.
I didn't actually. Well, look, there was a lot of other stuff in the shop because my character smokes a lot of weed, snorts coke, and drinks beer.
And he was also in charge of
Almost like me, except for the Coke.
health and safety.
Yeah, and it was my kind of biggest. It's a proper feature film, 2 cinema.
You just got back from
Paramount.
the States, eh?
Yeah, I went to LA for a week, which was really fun. It's a great place.
They've got craft beer there, right?
Oh yeah, I went to Golden Road when I was there. Golden Road was fun.
They've got a few craft breweries there.
I think they do.
Hey,
Yeah,
1 or 2.
Yeah. And weed's also legal, which is really fun.
Nice. I'm going.
I went to a few dispensaries. It's a problem. There's so much choice of food, and marijuana is legal for recreational use. So, yeah, I think with those two combined, I'd become very fat.
I wouldn't say that.
What?
I wouldn't say that.
I'm saying like lots of choice for food and free not free and recreational marijuana.
Before we move on, can you hear a crackling? I can hear a tiny crackling. But you know, it's just leave it. It's obviously just leave it. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. You know what's
Real life, man. Real life, okay? Sometimes there's a crackle in real life.
I'm just going to turn that down. Let's. Okay, so I think we haven't really finished on the ciders, but I do want to move over to the next beer.
Okay.
And it is a beer. It is a international beer. It is Piston Head. Brutal Brewing. Dry hopped with Citra and Cascade. It's the full amber lager.
Yes.
Let's have a look. Quality Piston Head product. I'm trying to see. I think it's from the UK. Should probably do a little bit of research before I get imported to Australia, imported to UK. So it is actually maybe American if it's anyway. You know what's
Made in the USA.
maybe it's British, but anyway, let's. Oh shit!
Ooh.
Just got beer
That's a squirter.
all over the microphone. Anyway, let's give this a go.
That beer was very excited.
Gooi vir my. So apart from ciders, you also like your beer.
Oh gosh, I love beer. Beer was kind of. It was actually my initial introduction to alcohol was actually wine. Because my dad's originally a winemaker, so we had a very cheers. I had a very French style kind of household. So we were offered a small glass of wine from like the age of 14, 15 with like a nice lunch or something.
As is common in most European cities,
Yeah,
small towns.
we have a healthy relationship with booze. Although
Healthy is good.
healthy is good, although a little bit of a binge every now and again does happen.
Look, it happens.
It happens. And my more regular drinking is beer, and my everyday is Tafel. That's kind of my.
I had a Tafel last night.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
I think they've changed the packaging a little bit.
Which one, the
bottle,
can
I
or the
think.
bottle?
The bottle. It's more rounded. Isn't it amazing when you got that kind of money, and if you just want to change the
Slightly
product,
change the bottle.
Yeah, but you are ordering like 100,000 units, few pallets. You know,
Yeah,
I think the bottle company's going to listen to you.
they better.
This is not a craft beer company. This is a Windhoek Brewing company, which is owned by Heineken.
Correct. Everything's owned by Heineken.
Kwong, kwong.
Wong wong. Yeah, so at home it's that, and then typically I'd buy myself like a few crafties on the side, and I'm a big either stout porter kind of guy or IPAs.
You are in luck for our next beer.
Oh, wonderful! And so big IPA and what do we have next? A porter or a stout?
We have a porter next.
Fantastic! Like
That's-
literally two of my favorite things: it's big IPAs and porters,
Well,
stouty kind of thing.
I mean, this is interesting that they call this type. It's Scotch, a lager, but it's an amber. It just says full amber. So if you had to just blindfold yourself and taste
At first, I think it would be was it IPA? No, it's got like ambery kind of.
it does have
sweetness.
a bit of this is going to sound bad. A metallic hop bitterness coming through in the nose. That's maybe from the.
It's got a lot more on the palate than it does on the nose.
Yeah, the nose is very weak.
Yeah. Or maybe it's because of the temperature as well.
Yeah, ignore my metallic comments. It's more like a toffee, burnt toffee, but very subtle.
I like it. It's good.
It's sessionable. It's easy.
What'd you say? Piston heads.
Piston head, brittle bring. I'm just going to Google it, but actually, that's what I wanted to tell you about, or ask you. Cider in South Africa.
Okay.
Cider is really hard to kind of define or fall under a certain group or blanket. I know that with the Beer Judge Certificate Program, cider does fall under the category as in terms of the different styles and taste, flavor profiles, etc. But no one really goes forward and studies the cider profile when you studying to become a beer judge. I say most, but maybe there are a few people out there who've got their cider qualifications.
I wish I knew what it was, because what's the Cicerone is the beer one, no?
Well, BJCP and Cicerone are two different.
But aren't you like a sommelier for wine and a Cicerone for beer?
So with BJCP, you're just a judge.
Oh.
And with the Cicerone, you're a Cicerone.
Yeah, like a sommelier. You are
Somebody's a wine
very knowledgeable person with product that can also help pair with food. Typically, that's what a sommelier is.
But more towards wine, I would imagine.
Sommelier is wine.
Yes.
Sommelier's, yeah. I'm saying Cicerone is more for your beer.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, where was
You were talking about the legal kind of placement.
I was talking about, so where does cider, does cider really have a
In
voice?
South Africa.
In South Africa. Because when you look at the mass-produced cider, it falls under the Distell kind of brackets.
Yeah.
Which have a lot of wine in their stable.
Yes.
But am I correct in saying that Distell is a percentage owned by SAB?
No.
I think that is.
don't
I'm getting my
know.
facts horribly wrong here, but I do
Think that
actually
they might.
think that SAB do have a percentage in Distell.
Yeah, the only
Like a
the only
minority.
competitive product that they have is Reds, but Reds isn't legally. It's a
Red cider now, hey? That was the first cider that I...
no. That's not even. It's not a cider.
What is it?
It's what they call it, like a ready to drink or a alco pop or a.
Shut up!
Stop drilling.
Got a freaking live radio show happening here. It's important. Please continue.
Anyway, so what were we saying? So, it was wine, Distell percentage. Oh, Reds. Reds is it's powder, alcohol, and water.
I'm just going to find a little thing here to play a jingle on the... Okay, so you wouldn't call it a...
No, legally it's not a cider because legally, like the legal terminology of cider is alcohol derived from apples. So even though the Hunters in Savannah is made from concentrate, that concentrate, the sugar in that concentrate is derived from apples. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it's a cider. But that means that what I make or what Everson Cider makes and all the other craft guys and Distell makes is legally the same thing.
Okay.
So it's the same thing on legal terms, even on labeling terms, everything. There's no distinction there. But in terms of a voice in South Africa, no. I was now we're loungy. Welcome to beer time.
Sit back, relax, close your eyes, and open your mouth.
Ready for that beer. So the industry in South Africa was started by commercial, like by corporate. So
Yeah.
Originally it was Strongbow that kind of started out
I
the
remember
market.
Strongbow, yeah.
And then Distell created Savannah to go against Strongbow. And then what happened, because I think Distell was actually distributing Strongbow. And then the whole apartheid thing happened. And sanctions happened. But Strongbow had built quite a strong following, but they pulled out. So then Distell created a product called Crossbow. And it looked exactly the same as Strongbow, just
Crossbow.
was called Crossbow.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I think it was the early 80s that Savannah actually started. So our general knowledge or general taste when it comes to cider was not craft. It is a mass-made, quite sweet product. So when we come with craft ciders, when we first started, people thought it was wine. They thought it was white wine.
And what, did you correct them, or did they just continue drinking thinking it was wine?
No, because the thing is, cider is actually, it leans towards wine. I feel that I'm still trying to figure out how, and maybe I'll inspire somebody to help me do this, but I think the strongest market for cider in South Africa is actually wine drinkers.
Yes.
Because we are quite snobbish about our wine, and we drink a lot of it. Yes, they're having a full-on conversation in there.
Oh, don't worry. I can hear the music and I can hear you. That's all that matters.
Okay, cool. We're now in a club and there's people in the background. And,
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, so groovy.
This is what happens when you're in a live studio audience. People chirping you. But continue what you say. And
yes.
But also, there's a certain percentage of the beer market that's also like that. Who wine drinkers are coming from leaving the wine market and thinking that beer is has the flavor profiles. It's more complex, like wine. It's not attracting, craft beer is not attracting mainstream lager drinkers.
No, of course not. And I don't think the typical craft beer is a volume thing. Your volume things are your lagers and your pilsners and your ales, not your IPAs and your porters and stouts and sours. And what's the other one I had the other day? Saltwater is called. What's that called? Goza. I had a Goza the other day with a very secret SSBSS tasting. It was unpublicized.
What?
Yeah.
What? I wasn't there.
It was 5 people. It was tiny.
And that qualifies as a SSBS.
It does, doesn't it?
Well, we're talking about our very sneaky private beer tasting club, the Beer Snob Society, where I'm sure you know what it is. We just drink beers. Any beers.
Weird beers.
Weird beers. Any beers. Okay, beers. So in a funny kind of way, that ciders are kind of, there's no regulation, or there's no one really representing them.
No, the regulation is a legal thing that gets done by DAF, Department of Agriculture's Farming and Fisheries, and it's more about what's on the label. So the legalese stuff. And
what you have to put, what you can't put.
Correct.
No underage drinking.
Like we used to call our Perry a pear cider, but legally there's no such thing as a pear cider. You have to call it a Perry.
Huh.
But we call it a pear cider, not because we didn't want to call it a Perry. It's because nobody in South Africa knows what a Perry is until very recently. So calling it a pear cider, it was just a little bit easier for people to digest, essentially.
Take on,
yeah. We actually got ratted out by a cider company that is no longer with us.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow.
They tried to sink us a few times. Yeah. People still talk shit about us. They still say that we make cider from concentrate.
Just to throw you off, or
you'd think that with the industry, like I helped create the what do you call it? That was the cider route in Elgin, where we've got 5-6 cideries now, and I wanted to create a collaborative thing where we use the power of all of our following to create a bit more interest in the
route,
in the route, and still there's like shit talking between a very small group of people.
Very interesting, and I want to talk.
I'm sure that's still in beer as well.
And it is something that's a great segue to what I want to talk about. But let's open our final beer.
This is like the least beers you've ever had in a show, isn't it?
No, this is. I usually aim for 4 if it's an hour.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you get.
How long have we been going for?
We have been going for almost an hour, 50 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Goes quickly, huh?
Kakpraat vir lekker kry.
Lekker. So this one was given to me.
Welkom by Biertyd. Kakpraat vir lekker kry.
I'm going to use that.
Hold on, I have to do it again. Welkom by Biertyd. Kakpraat vir lekker kry.
Just in case people are wondering, yes, he does do voiceovers. But that sounds like almost like the Spur guy.
Afrikaans is weird because you have to put on that radio voice when you do it.
My best is the Isuzu guy. Isuzu Bakkie.
Yeah. He's got that like Afrikaans guy voice. Isuzu Bakkie.
And he makes the bucky.
Yeah,
a
you
bucky
can-
is a pickup, people.
You can hear him wearing a pair of short and pull up his sockies, you know,
with the one pen.
with a khaki.
Okay, I don't want to chase away our Afrikaans listeners, but I also don't want to chase away our English listeners. Let's open this beer, which was given to me 10 days ago because it's brand new. Actually, 7 days ago. It's the Brewmasters Reserve from Cape Brewing Company. Thank you, music. It seems like everything's back to normal.
Shee.
It's the limited edition, special batch, vanilla bourbon porter.
Ooh.
What I like about CBC now, they are starting to experiment and play a little bit out the box. They get in, head brewer Wolfgang has given some projects to his younger brewers to kind of play around. I think the one before this was their West Coast IPA, which was incredibly delicious and sessionable. Like,
Have you ever had him on here?
I have.
You have.
He bought snacks and chips and biltong and everything.
Don't you think it's amazing the story about how he was retired after Paulana and they had to convince him to join CBC?
Yes.
Like they had to pin him down essentially. But the big thing was, this is how much we'll pay you and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think about it.
I'll think about it.
Yes.
Love you, Wolfgang.
Yes.
Love you.
Careful, you got to apologize, otherwise he will tase you. Let's drink some of this porter, which is recently now it is a bit shaken up, so I'm gonna pour gently. Pour gently. What were we talking about before? Yes, we were talking about your cider route, and it leads me on to what I was doing this weekend. I went up to the Natal Midlands, or KwaZulu-Natal Midlands, as it's now known, to visit my good old buddy Roscoe, who's just opened his new brewery. And it's called Happy Days Brewery.
Ooh, is that the one, the pictures you put up? With
Yes,
the cows
and
outside and
that's-
stuff.
and
Oh my
that's
gosh, that
based-
is so pretty.
It's based on his farm called Netherwood. It's almost like CBC have their brewery at Spice Roots.
Yes.
So I think he's gone with a similar kind of vibe. They've got a different restaurant. They're going to have a gin bar. They're going to have their brewery. And before I say what I was going to get into is that I can honestly tell you right now, out of all the breweries I've been to in South Africa, and I think I've been to most of them, that this one has to be one of the top 3 in terms of destination brewery. It's beautiful.
It
And
looks,
you-
it truly looks.
You saw the photos I sent you.
Yeah.
Those were, it was great. I'm just going to, I think it is that microphone. Anyway,
Yeah.
you know what?
Do you want me to go into that one?
No, that would just be weird.
Would it mess with stuff?
No, you know what? Leave it. But, okay, so what I was going to say is that his brewery is based close to Nottingham Road.
Yeah.
And
I've
you've
been
also
there.
got Notty's Brewery.
Yeah.
And apparently there are 3 other breweries that are opening up in the next year within a very close proximity to each other.
Interesting.
Now, this is...
Durbanites are a different breed, though.
But this is not even Durban. This is 2.5
This
hours
is Midlands.
away. This is 2 hours away from Durban.
Yeah, I like that
So
area.
it's...
I went there and did the zip lines. Have you ever done the zip lines?
I haven't.
Very good.
I probably will go back there and do it. But what's amazing is that it's in the middle of the country. It's isolated. Cheers. But it's a destination, and people are going to start going there for this area, this beer area, and
That's
and they are all on board. They're all encouraging and welcoming, this new breweries opening up because they want people to come through, spend the night, spend the weekend.
because the brewery doesn't have the beds. The place next door has the beds. So the place next door will tell their market about the brewery because it also makes more people come to them because it creates a destination in the area, which is like the whole brew pub thing. Create a destination. Don't just try and.
Okay, a little technical break there.
How are we doing? Oh no.
Let's go back to microphone number 3 because that one that I did give you there that is a horrible one. These things happen. These technical issues. You know what?
Yeah.
Let's just stay with that.
Let's stay where we were. Let's have some beer quickly because this one smells really great.
Do we
cheers again? We did.
Cheers again.
Cheers again.
Okay, so this is CBC Vanilla Bourbon Porter. It smells very, almost like a cigar-ish kind of vibe with that barrel
That's
Vanilla.
quite old barrel.
Let me have a little sip.
Like a
like
medium full body,
Yeah, like a chocolatey.
because it's still got a little bit of a.
low carbonation.
It's still got a little bit of dryness right at the beginning. That's why it's not like full body. It's not medium. It's kind of in
It does have a
between.
little bit of dry body, but it's almost like it's like a sessionable porter. It's not.
What's the alcohol in it?
It's actually quite high. 6.5.
No, yeah.
I
That's
like
nice.
it.
I like it.
It's not because it's a 6.5 porter. It's not and it's bourbon barrel. It's sessionable. It would have to be sessionable. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It's silly to make a 12% porter, or is that not so silly?
Okay, I'm not much of a beer nerd, but porters originally. Do you know the story behind porters? Like, I don't really.
I do, but you can tell me.
It's the porters on the Thames, and it was a mix of all of the beers, and then they even added some extra, like
Goodies.
like whiskey or whatever in the end to pump it up to over 12%, because it was like their first drink after the day, and they just wanted like something quite thick. And it's kind of like why you have a Guinness, because it kind of gives you some energies. I don't know.
No, you're on the.
I'm kind of there.
You are there. It's for the porters who would carry the bags throughout London, and this was.
I thought it was like the Thames porters.
Thames, London.
I mean, like from off of the boats, like
Yes,
the
yes,
actual
yes,
port
yes.
workers,
Yes.
porters. Yeah,
Yeah, so they would. I think back in the day, they'd take the bags off and carry them back and forth, whatever.
boxes,
Bags,
grain,
chickens,
all sorts of yes.
all that kind of things. Imported. Avos.
Ooh,
Um,
IPA.
Guang guang. So yes, this was their kind of the cheapish kind of beer that was given to the guys at the end of the day.
It's like the lucky bucket. It's kind of where all the like the port, like, you know, when you like
Sounds
the spill,
horrible. Imagine
like
you
when
call
you
a beer
spill.
lucky buckets.
Have you ever seen Sean Standeven do that? At festivals, they have drip
Actually
trays.
saw him this weekend, but yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did you go to the market?
No, he came to the brewery.
Oh, okay, cool. Their market is incredible.
Yes, it's awesome.
Drip trays, and then all of that, which is not dirty beer,
Yeah.
goes into like a bucket. So all of his 10 different beers at festivals go into a single bucket.
And then what?
And then he's got these fans that come to drink that. He's got these crazy people that come and drink that. And that is like a porter beer.
Actual people.
Actual people.
Real life people.
Yeah, if you ask Sean, he'll laugh about it and tell you, yeah, it happens.
Oh my word.
But he also stalls his beer and makes like beer schnapps out of it, like CBC does. He says the worse the beer, the better the schnapps.
He's a lekker oak. I must
guy.
try and get him on the show. I'm going to have to go back to Durban.
Welcome to Durban.
But what were we talking about? We were talking about the porter. We were talking about beer routes.
We were talking about destinations.
Destinations. I think we kind of covered that.
Yeah. I think we did.
Speaking of destinations, what's next for you in terms of destinations? Where are you heading? You've just become a father, so I think you might have to
I'm 4 months.
handbrake a little bit in terms of
Exactly.
trying anything new.
Yeah, so I'm 4 months. We're 4 months in now, and my wife Jacqueline went back to work last week Monday, and I'm in all practicality a stay-at-home dad.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I've been spending time with my daughter Dylan.
It's a cute name.
Thank you, Dylan Amelia Everson, and it's been wonderful. Granny is with her at the moment, taking care of her while I'm here.
Dina Amelia Everson.
What? Dylan
Dylan
Amelia
Everson. Which is DAE, which is also the first three letters of Dana.
Oh my god. Or we like doing phonetic alphabet, so she is Delta Alpha Echo.
Delta Alpha Echo.
Yeah, and I'm Mike Hotel Echo, and the wife is Juliet Charlie Echo, which is the best one. Juliet Charlie Echo. Sounds the best. It sounds like an actual name.
I'm going to go home. I've been drinking too much. I'm going to go home and work out mine.
T. Oh, wow.
What's T?
Tango.
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 Hey.
What's your second? Do you have a second?
B.
Tango.
Bravo.
Bravo.
M.
Mike.
Hey, Tango Bravo Mike.
That's quite a nice one as well, Tango Bravo Mike.
Oh God. So look, it's like we're kindred spirits, you and I.
Welcome to Beer Time with Tango Bravo Mike.
What's your 20?
What's your twang? Oh yeah, like we are dualistic in our knowledge of each other as well, because we first met beer and then the industry of sitting in rooms.
I actually
The industry of sitting in rooms and
when I
and
researched
pretending to be something.
I had to do a bit of a Facebook, not stalk because we're friends, but
Yeah.
I went and looked at Facebook. Have that See Friendship,
Yeah,
and you can see all the photos
that we've been in together.
being together. And there was just one that we were tagged in together.
Okay.
And it must be from 5 years ago. And
shit.
it's weird because it's just got you and I, but everyone else. And we all look a lot skinnier and younger. You can see, wow, we were.
Time goes so quickly. Like this year is already halfway through.
No,
man.
I can't even talk about it. Like, it's just, when you think about the festivals that are coming up, like the Woodstock Winter Beer Festival, even Cape Town Festival Beer, all these things
Wow, that's actually sooner than you think.
kind
now,
of
isn't
repeat
it?
it. And you know what? We're probably like 2 weeks away from IPA Day, Beer Day, the festival. That I was looking at the calendar the other day and I was thinking, shit, that's going to be a big beer week. I need a buckle the hatches or
Batten down the hatches.
batten down the hatches.
Batten down the hatches.
Oh,
You need to go and batten down the hatches.
young Jeffrey.
Young Jeffrey. Sorry.
No, this is great. This is what the people want.
Just two
But
guys
it is
talking shit.
It is going on to the hour mark for those of perceptively who followed us. So we do need to kind of start wrapping it up.
Oh, okay, you something I didn't answer properly.
Yes.
What am I doing now? So it's Dylan, and yeah, I'm currently I'm calling it a sabbatical from
thoughts
Everson Cider.
Any thoughts of going back into the not just cider industry, but craft industry, beer industry? What would you do if someone said, "Listen, I've got a lot of money. I need you to do something with it, like start a business."
Really?
Yeah,
Well, if it's industry stuff, I want to make craft brandy.
craft brandy.
Because Jack Parrow is the only guy that's actually tried to do it with Paratrooper, I think it's called. No, Paratrooper is the bodyboard that
Karate Vata.
Karate Vata.
Calls it karate water. But I'm glad you said that. Oh my God, we can do a whole nother show on this.
Because it's interesting. We're a
It's a
country
gin-
obsessed by, we like the volume of brandy that gets drunk in this country is incredible. Why do we only have one like cool crafty brandy? But I wouldn't even I'd go to like a big company like KWV or, and then I've got this product range that I would pitch to them.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I don't know, I'm not only a brand guy, I'm like a product
you're
guy.
close to Oudemorgen. That's close to your area.
That place makes some sexy stuff. They actually contract produce for a lot of French cognac companies. Yeah, and Oudemorgen does the Jack Parrow brandy.
Yes.
So it's a very good quality brandy actually.
Well, listen, I'll say this live on radio, but you and I have flirted together with different business ideas.
Ooh.
You're upset that I've put that business in there.
I thought we were just talking about flirting.
No, but we've often chatted about different things and coming up with different ideas.
Yeah,
But
because we both like you're designy and markety as well.
Yes.
Like I'm more packaging and story, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I'm not a good salesman, actually.
I could sell something. I reckon I could sell something. But
Not gin, please, for the love of God.
no. We've got someone said the other day there's 74 different types of gin in South Africa, and I was just like, okay, well,
I think it's going to be.
Slow down.
I think it's going to be harsher than the beer one. I think, like in terms of percentage, I think more gin companies are going to drop off than beer companies.
oh yeah, or join or.
Join
Yeah.
or whatever.
But let's explore that branding because I've often thought about.
I don't want to go too much in detail on air. You can't throw those kind of ideas into the wild.
No, you can't. I read it. Oh, there's so much I want to talk about. About ideas. Off radio. But you know what? If you're listening and you think we're talking sense and we're talking about something exciting and you would want to see something like this, come on, just tweet me, give me some sign
what do we need in this country?
Give us some sign that's something that you would like to see. It doesn't have to be craft brandy.
Yeah, it can be anything.
I had another guy approach me the other day saying, listen, he wants to do craft water. So I thought,
well, we got that. Mountain Falls?
Yeah,
I know Michael, actually. His name's Michael, the owner. And
sounds like a great guy.
Sounds like a great guy. It's just the other side of Hermanus, just before Stanford on the left-hand side. It's a mountain called Die Varkse Snoet, which means...
Translates to?
The
pig's nose.
The pig's nose, because the waterfall is like this big roundish piece of rock with two waterfalls.
That's crazy.
It's called Die Varkse Snoet, and that's where he fills the Mountain Falls water.
It's something like a Jumanji story.
It kind of feels like, oh God, did you watch the new one? I did.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. The Rock. I like The Rock.
He's the most bankable actor in Hollywood right now.
He's got his own production company. That's why he's making so much bank.
You don't make money as an actor, you make money as a producer.
Yep. And that's why he's doing really well. Listen, we've spoken
now we're going off topic.
A lot of nonsense, but we've also spoken some good stuff. I'm going to say this. I really enjoyed today, and I think we spoke some beautiful poetry on the show, and we're going to have to get you back for round 2.
I honestly think an hour is too little.
Well,
how do you feel about that?
I've had people... Well, I say people, my wife saying, you can't come home after 2 hours of drinking and expect to do any work. And I've kind of agreed. I can't sustain that kind of living.
That's just a quick nap.
Oh, no.
No, more drinking.
No. I need to be a little bit productive in this day and age. Mr. Michael, I feel like we haven't finished a lot of the conversations that we've started, so please come back again.
It was like a meandering route.
Yes.
That went off in very many directions. No, look here, I not only love listening to the sound of my own voice through a set of headphones, because it's kind of what I do professionally.
Yes.
But talking some shit and getting lost in tangents and dreaming and all that kind of stuff. I'm always there for that kind of talk.
We're going to do this again.
Yeah.
Let's do this again.
Yeah. Just to let everybody else know, though, he invited me a few times and then he cancelled on me most of those times because he had someone a bit more important than me to come onto the show.
Let's play out with some music. To be honest, I think it wasn't more than twice that I think I had to
Two
cancel.
times.
Two times.
I think I've avoided this though, so it's not only your fault.
Okay, good. Well, it was great.
And thank you for not sort of targeting the Everson Cider thing too much. I appreciate that as well.
No, it's cool, but we'll leave the listeners in suspense. Mm-hmm. We'll come back with part 2. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Let's play some Bruno Mars. I've got a cool song lined up, and we will see you guys same time, same place next week. Mr. Michael?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Ciao, ciao.
Auf Wiederschnitzel.
Yes. Thanks for listening, guys and girls. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search for #BeerTime. That's #BeerTime written out in full. Hope you enjoyed the show, and check you next time. Cheers.